All right. Hey, today we've got Bryce Waite on the call with us today. Bryce is a loan officer manager out of Colorado, and Bryce and I have had the privilege of getting to know each other a little bit over the last few months, just business related stuff and learning more about his team and what he's doing. And I gave everybody a quick snapshot of what about Bryce. Bryce does about what 40 to $50 million in personal production. Is that right, Bryce?
Yeah, my worst year yet, but yeah, 50 mil this year is what I'll hit.
Okay. And you've got a team of about 30 to 40 people on your team and doing roughly 180 to 200 million a year.
Yeah, it's our worst year. Yep. But that's where I'm
Okay.
sitting.
Well, and that's good. So, and the other thing why I really wanted Bryce to come on is, what fascinates me about Bryce is that he's been in the business 6 years. And I personally have not seen anybody take a business from getting into the business for 6 years and growing a $50 million production business and growing a team and thinking big. And not everybody can do that. And I just wanted you to maybe share some things that you do, Bryce, that maybe even taking us back to when, hey, this is when I got started and this is why I started it. Maybe tell us what you did before you got in the mortgage business. So what did you do before you got into the mortgage business?
Yeah, so I was military, and then hi everybody, by the way, and hopefully this is good. If you guys have questions in between, go ahead and halt me too. I'll keep it simple and quick. But if you do have something come between, because I know I'll cover a lot fast. So Brian, if that's okay, somebody can step in and ask a question.
Perfect. Sounds good.
I started as military. I was Army infantry and went to Air Force TAC P, called in Air Strikes for Rangers and Green Berets. I was embedded with the SF teams, so it was a blast. I got paid to blow shit up. Excuse my language, Brian. I cuss a little bit. So.
You're good. No, we're fine.
And then I got out of there and I didn't know what I was going to do. So I'm from Montana, country boy. And I got into building power lines. So I became a lineman. I built power lines and I ran out of hours to work. I could only work so many hours a day. I was chasing storms and I loved the hard work, I guess, put an aspect. And then I met a guy who was in mortgages and I saw how much he made. And I went, what? I've never seen that before. His name was Eric Kobe. He's been a mentor to me. And that W-2 was 7 figures plus. And I went, holy cow, how do you hit that? 30 days later, I was licensed as a mortgage person and I hit the ground running and just picking up phones and dialing for dollars. And I learned a lot going through that process. So does that cover that, Brian? Kind
of. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, just you heard about it and jumped all in. Okay. So then what did you do from there?
So from there, and if anyone in sales, most people don't even know this answer, but where's the money made in sales? Does anyone know the answer to that?
In sales.
Where's the money made in sales?
Unmute yourself if you know the answer.
Come on, somebody throw something out there. All right. Well,
realtor partners.
It's a good one. It's a start. Anyone else?
At the closing?
No. Keep going, Joe.
Relationships.
All right, I love it all. Guys, it's made in the follow-up, which is all of those. Money is made in the follow-up. Your sales, everything is made in your follow-up. If you don't know that, you're already off to a bad start. So start there. But everything you guys said is correct. But it's the follow-up after the closing. It's the follow-up after meeting the agent. It's the follow-up after meeting the client. It's always made in the follow-up because your initial hit, most of the times you won't get it. Okay. So follow-up was the biggest thing. Coming from that, Brian, you were asking, what did I do? I mean, if you don't close at least 3 to 4 transactions a month, you should be hitting open houses every weekend. That's a start right there. You should be partnering with agents, hitting open houses, and you should get 3 to 4 a month by doing that every weekend for 2 to 3 months.
Do you go to random open houses or do you call and ask permission to come in first?
So in my opinion, you want to call a team lead somewhere and build that relationship. Look and hold open houses with somebody local in this area. Do you know someone on the team that's doing this? They'll be more than happy to line you up. And that way you didn't just go for that person. You automatically went to the team lead and the team lead likes that. So that kind of gets you into the teams. Did I cover that, Brian? Good start.
Perfect. Yep. So mainly working open houses. Okay. So you started doing that, started building your business. How did you develop relationships with realtors then when you're like, hey, I'm pretty new to this business? What was it that triggered the relationship?
So back to the follow-up, okay? Because first of all, every time you guys meet an agent, the first thing you should ask is, if you were a lender, what would you do different, right? That's the first thing you should ask. Because if you don't ask them what they would do different, you don't know their pain point. 90% of the time, do you know what they say? Anybody?
Follow up.
Well, that too. Communication. 90% agents they're not good at the follow-up either. They're horrible. You'll never teach an agent to be good at follow-up, just so you know. They're very that aspect. So communication. They want lenders to communicate correctly. And there's one thing I teach in my branch, and something I've learned starting this right off the bat was, and I learned this myself, bad news travels faster than good news. Good news can be a day late. It can be two days late. It can be a week late. It's good news. They're going to smile no matter what, right? Bad news, it needs to go out instantly. But you don't make that bad news go out until you have a solution. Never do bad news without a solution or a plan of action to back that bad news up, okay? And one thing to dial in off that, I am very, very big in my branch, and anyone I talk to, we are 80% solution-based and 20% problem-based. Most people, most companies, most everywhere is 80% problem, 20% solution. Switch that mindset, and that's how you can accomplish big things.
What do you mean more about that? Can you go on more to that? Like what is a solution based? Give us an example.
So for example, right, let me use here. Okay, so problem. How am I going to relate that? Man, there's so many. Got to make sure I got a good one. I wasn't prepped for that.
Low appraisal.
What's that?
Low appraisal.
Yeah, so low appraisal, right? That's a good one. We'll go there. So appraisal came in low. Okay, if it's VA, I'm just gonna use VA, right? Because VA is normally a pretty hard structure when you're fighting appraisers. Okay, so you want to make sure you have the action plan of how you're going to challenge it if the seller won't lower it, right? If the seller will not lower the purchase price and wants to get rid of your concessions or whatever you're doing for the VA, you need to make sure you know the backup plan of how to get that appraisal looked at by the VA, how to challenge that appraisal. So when you go in, you go to your agent and you go, hey, let's do this and this and this, but I have a backup plan. If not, we can at least challenge it, but let's try this first. That's solution-based, not problem-based. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Most people will go, oh, appraisal came in low. Let's just go back, and they don't have any solutions to back that. You should spend 80% of your time on the solutions. Yeah, appraisal came in low. We know, we got it, right? So now let's work on solutions for the rest of the time. Because if you just focus on the appraisal's bad, cool, we get it. Let's work on solutions. Is that a good example? Does that work?
Great example. No, that's good. So what did you do, Bryce, then when growing your business? How did you scale it? Obviously to get to 40, 50, what did you do your first year?
So my first year, I was an agent. I started in agents. I was an agent. To cut that back, I started agent lending pretty much the same time because I didn't know which one I wanted to do. Okay. And then I realized the lender side had more ability. So at about the same time I became mortgage, I was an agent. I closed 20 deals my first year as an agent. Okay. So I did that just by door knock and hustling, but I was trying to do loans as well. I did 15 million in loans that first year. Okay. Wasn't from Colorado. I was from Montana, traveling, building power lines. I came here. I didn't know anybody. I think that was an advantage as well. By the way, if you don't know somebody, I think it's a great advantage to do that if you look at it optimistically. So second year, I did 50 million. Third year, I did 102 million. Fourth year, I did 126 million personal production. And next year, I did 88 million. And this year, I'm going to do 50 million. That was kind of the production standards that I had.
Okay. And so what did you mainly build that growth off of? What was it, just the right agents? I mean, what percentage of your business comes from realtors?
99%.
99. Okay. That's so good.
Very big on where I started you guys off on the open houses. I go for teams. I'm going for the big dogs. The one-off agents, that's cool. So if there's an agent that doesn't do more than 5 buyer transactions a year, I'm going to be honest with you, you're not who I'm going to spend my time with. And not to be hard feelings. I have goals and ambitions of where I'm going, and not saying that agent won't turn into a unicorn. I've met them, right? They're great. You got to build there, but I don't spend a lot of my time with them. You're not going to catch me at lunches with an agent who does, 5 deals, right? You might catch me at class with them or talking to them, but you ain't going to catch my major time with anyone who does under 5 deals a year. So it used to be 8, but this current market, it's like 4 or 5 because this market's way different, as we all know.
Sure. Yep. So you're going after the teams. So what do you, and you don't have to give us the secret sauce, or I suppose you don't really care, but what do you mainly pitch to them to a big team?
Yeah.
Team
So
leader.
yeah, so I teach what's called the DSP. Okay. And I call it the daily success plan. All right. What I teach is how to be, guys, if you look at any business, I wish I had a whiteboard where I stepped down to teach it in a better way. But
That's class 2.0.
Yeah, right. So I get into more details about the DSP, but I teach a DSP daily success plan for my own team, and I teach it for agents. Okay. So when I meet agents, I'm looking for agents that have a big goal, right? Big vision, that want to build a true partnership. I'm not in it for the individual who's just wanting to rob your money, the individual who doesn't want to make money. Like, I want to hear their goals. They want to put their kids through college. Do they want to buy another investment property? What's their dreams and ambitions? Because it's my job to help them get there. Does that make sense? So when I'm meeting with these teams and stuff, I'm mostly teaching. Here's the 4 words I like to use more than anything: system, process, effective, and efficient. I think, Brian, you've heard me say that. System, process, effective, and efficient. If you miss one of those, you're dead. I use it as an example, right? Like, if you're effective but not efficient, you're going to get burnt out, right? You're going to work daylight to dark. It's just not good. If you're efficient but not effective, what a waste of time. You're not making no money. You're not helping enough families, right? You need all 4. So whatever you do, and everyone's got their own way of doing it. I can't say my way is the best, but whatever way you do it, make sure you implement all 4 of those with that agent team. So I mostly try to support them. I'm not their assistant. I am their partner. And I make that very clear, right? Like, I always tell agents too, I work with a lot of women agents as well, but I say, hey, this is just a date. We're not getting married, right? We're going on a date. Like each other. We really like each other. Let's build this partnership. And I'll tell you, and I say this to the guys too, I'll be a great husband. I'll take care of everything for you. You ain't got to worry. I'll provide and protect. I'm going to take care of all those clients, the credit repair, everything in the system and process to make sure you can do what you do best. And you're on the front lines. You meet with the clients and bring me the clients. I support you. I'm not your assistant. I support you. So hopefully that kind of clears that up. And the best I could do on this call, I could teach a class on it, but to keep it simple.
Yeah. No, that's pretty good. What were the 4 things again? The efficient, what is it?
Yeah, so process and system, and it has to be effective and has to be efficient. The 2 E's are the most important thing. Everything you do has got to be effective and efficient. If you miss one of those, it's garbage. It's trash.
Okay. Yeah. So you've obviously, you've got how many loan officers are on your team?
I just brought on like 4 more, so I don't know. It keeps growing. We got a couple more that just hit me up today. Come on. So I can't really say exactly. I think that, man, Brian, I don't know those numbers, to be honest with you.
That's okay. So what would you say of the people you've managed? What's typically the biggest struggle they have or reason they don't succeed?
Yeah. I'm taking action, right? I think everyone knows this. Taking action. Here's not the thing. You can't just take action for a week. You got to take action for 3 months. You are getting no results for 3 months. Your first 90 days, you hold open houses, you shouldn't close a deal. I'm serious. If you do, it's luck. Your first 90 days, whatever you do in this business, pays off for the next 90 days. If you think you're going to put in work for 30 days and say, oh, I tried, I did it, dream on, you're done. You might as well.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Consistency.
Yeah. And I would say, the one thing loan officers fail on, and I try to simplify everything, right? Operationalize it. I will tell you that most issues I get when I get a call to fight underwriting, or I get a call because someone's upset or whatever, and I try to teach this on every call, and most people can't even answer this. They all know it. It's so basic, but the 3 things that make up a loan: credit, down payment, or assets, and income. Which one do you think kills all deals and has the most problem and bogs everything down, stresses everybody out?
Credit.
What'd you say?
Credit?
No, income.
Huh.
Income bogs us down every time. You're trying to figure out if they're part-time, what you can use, what you can do. As long as income is done, everything else is just a hurdle of BS documents. I love the loan as long as the income's done, right? Like 99% of the time, if your income's solid, we can figure everything else out. Now, not always, right? There's always that time that's not always perfect. I always use the 80-20 rule, but most of the time, if you dial that income in the first call and get the pay stubs or whatever you're going to do front end, taxes, business owner, and dial that in, you normally can look like a rock star almost all the time. You miss income, every time it's a disaster, and you look like an idiot to your agents. You look like an idiot to your underwriter. You look like an idiot to your buyers, your sellers, and now you're selling with lies because you're trying to keep afloat. This is the biggest problem I see with loan officers: honesty. And it's very hard to be honest when you screw up on the front end. And the front end is everything in loans. Everything in loans is done in the front end the first 48 hours, in my opinion.
Perfect. No, that's good. So going into 2024, everybody's kind of first of all, do you do a business plan?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so big that it's almost unimaginable every year. And people should say you should set your goals. And here's one thing I'll tell everybody to do. Whatever your income goal is, and everyone's different, right? It doesn't have to be, some of you guys could be 100 grand, some of you guys could be $1 million, some of you guys could be 2 million, some could be 500. Whatever your income goal is, you should go in and change every damn password you have to your income goal. All your passwords should say your income goal right now. You're going into 2024, so if you want to make 250 grand, every password should be 250 grand, money sign, money sign. Not that I'm going to try to get you guys bank or anything, but you know what I mean? You guys should try to do this, right? You should try to, I have it on my mirror when I wake up. I see it. You know, you have to believe it. You have to manifest it. That stuff's real. And if it's every password, everything like that, it's when I'd recommend highly doing that. Or do never put units. Whatever you do, please do not put units. Put family served. Switch that mindset. Don't think I need to do 200 units. I need to serve 200 families. And it's much more important as a mindset. Those two things to set your goals in 2024 would be my recommendation.
I love it. So you do an extensive business plan. Going into 2024, what's going to be, does anything change, or are you changing next year's outlook compared to this year?
Oh, I'm changing that. Guys, in a down market is when you make your money. And now is the time. I think you're going to be able to soak up so much market share right now. And it's happening right now, right? It's literally happening right now. And if you ain't taking advantage of it, you're missing out. And you guys know statistically there's 260,000 loan officers in the business in 2021. You guys all know these numbers, right? 260,000. Do you guys know statistically what's already came out once at 90,000? Do you know what they're saying mid-January it's going to come out to be? 60,000 left. Tell me that this is not the time to grab market share. And the ones last standing, the ones putting in the work, the ones that are effective and efficient, processes and system mindset, the ones that are holding those open houses are going to build those relationships. The ones that stick in, the agents are going to stick in, the lender's going to stick in, and this is your opportunity to take it. So, Brian, come out of 2024, I think that business will stay the same. I think 80% of your competition is going to be gone, right? 20% of your business is going to stay the same, but that 80% is going to get you your 100% of business back. Because the 80% of the competition will be gone, it's your opportunity to take that market share and look good. So I think it's going to be a great year. I think that you should make 200 calls a week. I think that, guys, anyone on here, if you cold call 2,000 people this year, cold call 2,000 agents, you're going to learn so much. You're going to fail so much. And I don't call it failure because you never quit, that everybody on here will make $500,000. If you cold call 2,000 people and do a follow-up system behind it, you'll make 500 grand. I don't care who you are on this call. I don't care what your skill set. You can barely speak English and you'll probably still go.
That's good.
What's your rebuttal to because this is like one that keeps coming up with the higher end agents. I'm really loyal to the loan officer that I use.
Good. I respect that. You have no clue how much loyalty means to me. And I have more respect than you know. Why don't you give me your worst credit repair? Why don't you give me the worst ones you got? And let me show you what I can do. And then you don't stop. Hey, it's been a month. I haven't seen any bad credit, anything. Just give me a shot. And remember, when you get that shot, you can't screw it up. So, and you're going to get that a lot. That's just the rebuttal I have. And there's some of them are never going to use you. Some are going to tell you to F off one day. Cool. You don't stop till they tell you to F off. Guys, they have what you want. Don't get hurt feelings. It's business. And you know, if you're a confident person and you know what you need to do, you need to go until they tell you to stop. Because if they don't tell you stop, they didn't tell you stop, right? We're here to do business, like same concept. So hopefully that answers that.
Good
Actually,
question.
let me cover something on that really quick. I have this in my notes. I talk about it a lot. Confidence. I'm gonna run through 3 things really quick. Brian, is that cool? Really quick, I run through this.
You fire away, man. This is why we want it.
I teach my team this. I got like this diary of loans with me, right? This is my lay in bed and talk about stuff. Where's this at? Let's see. Okay. +2. Okay. All right. Patience. So these are the things I try to teach my team more than anything. And here's my meaning. You can go in the dictionary and have your own meaning. This is what I figured out for mortgages related. Patience. Most of us don't have patience, right? We're all sales. We're all high-end people. Normally, patience is a bad thing. Do something else during that time. Make sales calls. Go to open houses. So in patience, when a file, you're waiting for something, stay busy because you know there's a time frame behind it. Don't sit there and get anxiety waiting for it, okay? Something I try to teach my loan officers to be successful with. Learning. And Nicole, I'll call you on this. Learning. What does learning mean to you, Nicole?
finding new things to. How do you say learning without saying learning?
So
Teaching yourself something new.
say me and Brian are near each other, and I slap Brian across the face, right? And I slap him across the face, takes it. If I swing to slap again and he moves, he learned. So it's same thing happens, you respond differently. That makes sense? That is your learning in business and learning in mortgages. Same thing happens, you respond differently. You respond differently to your agent, you respond differently to your clients, you respond differently to the underwriters. That's how I get the learning. Now, and I'll use again, Nicole, intelligence. What's intelligence mean?
How smart you are.
What's that? How smart you are?
Oh.
Okay. So it's the rate of learning, the speed. If I slap Brian once and he takes it, I slap him again, he takes it, and he ain't dodging. He's not very intelligent, right? He's
having a bad day. Okay.
Yeah.
So
That or I'm blind.
Yeah, the rate of learning is intelligence. And the reason I cover these is because patience, learning, intelligence are all three keys to doing loans. That's why I cover these. Are super, super important, right? And the last thing, confidence. When you're calling, you're getting these rebuttals. This is what I call confidence. It's domain specific. So father, mother, realtor, mortgage. You have to be specific what you're confident in. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a call. Hold on. So you won't be, confident in everything, right? You have to be confident what you do, and how you do that. You create proof. You do it a lot of times, which means that rebuttal you fight all the time, Nicole. Practice in the same situation. So you need that same one coming at you all the time. You practice it and do it till you're bored of it. That's when you know you're so confident that agent will feel that energy and that team lead. And that's when you start closing. And confidence comes from the past, not present. Don't forget that. Cool.
So in the time that I've, and we'll do some questions here in a second, but the time that I've known Bryce, got to know him, probably one of the most energetic guys I've met. Every single time Bryce is like this on the phone, he's just got energy. So we're going into the winter months in a really slow market. What do you do, Bryce, to honestly keep your mind focused and that excitement? Because I think that's a huge attribute to how you get business. So like when people say, what do you put, if I can put my thumb on how you get business, it's confidence and energy.
Yeah, I guys, I think that you either get the desire or you don't, right? And you guys got to want it. Like my goals, like it's not about the money. It's just about proving to myself. I'm not competing with anyone. I'm looking in the mirror competing with myself every day, right? So when I say I want an income goal, that income goal isn't for, I don't really have a family, on that aspect, right? It's me and, a girlfriend. But like, I don't have kids or anything. Some of you guys do, but you should find your desire. If you have kids, you should find that desire there. You're doing it for them. Maybe you want 3 rental properties to make sure your kids are taken care of forever, right? You have to find what that desire is, and that's where you get the energy from. I have fell in love with, I'm a man of God, I go to church a lot, big time on that. I have fell in love with wanting to help others. That's my desire. So I wake up every day going, how many people can I help and do the right thing, right? Be honest, good handshake, do what's right. And if you guys can find that burning desire, whatever it is, it could be to help people, it could be to benefit yourself. There's nothing wrong with being selfish, guys. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying that in a bad way, but find what gives you that burning desire of want. And if you can't find that, you get hurt. It's what the average does. And I don't like average, and it's not a bad thing. But if you can find that burning desire, whatever it is, and I don't know each one of you, if I listen to you talk, I'll tell you what yours is. I know you can hear it, but that's what I'd recommend. Burning desire, find it.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys, and we will literally fly through these pretty quick, Bryce. So thanks for this, but let's throw out some questions, you guys. I know you guys have some questions about if you've been in the business more than 6 years and you're wondering, gosh, I don't have that business. That's okay. Having a guest speaker like this can help you with an idea, a suggestion. So what questions do you guys have for Bryce?
I have a question. Bryce, at open houses, how do you convert people from, or the clients walking into the open houses to them sitting down and getting an application?
Yeah.
What's your secret there?
Yeah. So first things first, who's your client actually?
They're your realtor, I would say.
So love that question. We're going to cover that, but just make sure you guys all know your client is the realtor, right? You're just killing with kindness. And the best thing I say, is normally you find one that wants to get in and make an offer. Those are lucky if you get those, right? You're really there to build your relationship. If they don't want to do it there, you need to make sure you get their contact and reach out to them. Do not have clients reach out to you. Okay. Ever. Hey, I'll shoot you a text and schedule a time with you. Don't be pushy saying I'll call you. Hey, I'll just text you, email you a good time to set up a call, right? Because if you're pushing and saying, I'll call you, they don't like that. People want their privacy. They're getting bothered all the time. But say, hey, I know you're looking. Hey, I'd love to just show you. I would offer something, right? Like, hey, we have great down payment assistance, or hey, we have this first time buyer thing that came out, or something in your area, or something locally where, or throw in a free appraisal, build in pricing, whatever you can do, do something to get their attention. And I don't know your business model or whatnot, but if you threw in a, appraisal or small lender credit, if that's possible in situation, I would you have to give something, right? Like I call it, Gary Vaynerchuk. I read a lot of books. Gary Vaynerchuk, jab, jab, right hook, give, take. So make sure whatever you do, don't just go for the kill. Make sure you're giving something first before you ask.
Great question. Good. Next question.
Okay, so the big teams in town, how do you sit down and approach them?
You attack their little minions until you can land the big fish. You do so good that they talk about you. And then you say, hey, can you please, you ask when you're ready, hey, do you know any agents on your team or anyone I could talk to? And you land one or two more and you do a good job. And then you get the team lead. You'll never get the team lead off the bat. Just won't. If you do, it's luck. It's a lot of work. It's a year process on average to get to team leads. Then at Facebook, post your closings, post good information, show them who you are and what you do. Let them see before you go for the attack.
Good question, Hannah. Who else? I know there's one in your mind. Joe?
Yeah, I got a question. What's it going to take to get you to come to Granite?
Brian's in process with it right now.
All right, cool.
Joe's our transition guy, so he's eager for you, I'm sure. Next question.
Yeah.
Jeff, go ahead. Got your hands up. Nice job using the tools, Jeff.
There you go. Hey, what's your process for following up with agents? Say, because I went out and hit a bunch of open houses this past couple of weekends, went good. What's your follow up compared to like what mine would be, I guess, or just kind of knowing what works for you?
Yeah. So my process for a follow up is I have a 12-week follow up for agents, and then they go on a monthly. But I follow up every week, and I use forward, right? Family, occupation, recreational, dreams. So I use that. So I make sure I hit one of the forwards with them every week. Monday, hey, did you get any business, or, just hung out with your family? What you and your family do anything good? Try to build that. At the end of the day, though, I'm very blunt, and it's worked for me. It's also pissed off a lot of agents too, is going, hey, when you send me a deal, let's just do one deal. Let me show you what I can do for you. Right. And I promise you, I won't let you down. Like, you put that confidence in them enough times on text, like, they're just going to feel bad for you. You want to push them till they feel bad for you and send you a client. Right. And if you update them here, and everyone write this down, this is the key in my branch. And this is something so important. Touch a client, touch a partner. Every single time you touch that client, update your partner. Your partner is your realtor. As soon as you talk to them, as soon as you schedule a call, as soon as you do anything, update the partner and you'll win. You can't lose. No one's doing it.
And make sure your partner is the listing agent, because if there's a contract on it, it's easy call.
Yes, you guys
just want to let you know about the property at 126 Main Street. They're going to call you back every single time. They want to know what the problem is. Then you'll surprise them by saying there's no problem. So I love that. And what I loved about what you said there, I've never had anybody say, because I've told these guys about Ford, or we call it Frog if you want, Ford, where you try to hit them all in one call. I like what you say, just do one letter per week.
Yes.
Let's just talk about family this week. How is your family? How are your kids? Are they doing anything for Christmas? And then next week doing recreation, and the week after that do occupation. So I like that.
Yeah, and a lot of times, guys, I do a lot of texting because agents don't like us, right? Let's be real. They need us, but they don't like us. And you just have to know that. They don't care about us. And I try to do that many times at the end of the day. And we just have to accept it and kill them with kindness. And if you can accept that, you're ahead of everyone else. Don't think that they're so stuck on their paycheck that half the time they don't even know what's going on in the contract. They just don't. And I'm not dissing on all agents, but this is 90% of agents. They have no clue. And you guys know this, you deal with it. So make sure you just know that going into everything, that you're there to just take care of them and understand who they are and what they're there for.
Perfect. All right, we'll take one more.
Okay, so you said you like to read. I do too. What are books that you'd recommend? I was
Books.
trying not to ask any more questions, but this one else is.
That's good.
The One Thing is really,
I
really
love
good
that one. Yes.
book. Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker. Okay, I'll tell you your entire business model. This book is so advanced, I can't read 10 pages and stop because it's just too much. Is the 4 disciplines of execution. That is the strongest business book I have ever read. It is a college degree that's insane. It's 4 disciplines of execution, and I can't remember who it is, but you could read that book every year, and if you could master that, you could just blow up. But remember, don't read too much. Take more action. Read 10 pages and put it into action. Don't read a bunch and then go, oh, I read that. I know some people that read too many books and don't take action.
Yeah.
Good point.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else you want to leave us with, Bryce?
Stay positive. Everyone else is not positive. Glass is always half full, right? Your mindset's going to turn into your reality, and your reality is part of your mindset. So I think mindset's half the battle, if not more. Of course, we got all the loan stuff and all that. So it's a pain in the ass and it's always hard. But at the end of the day, the staying positive and smiling, people feed off that energy. So make sure you get out there with the energy. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, in our conversations, one of the things I notice about Bryce is that he's always working hard, trying new things, standing out, being different. And then I look in the back of your wall, and you've got 2 things on your wall back there of a lion standing in front of a bunch of sheep, which makes you stand out. And then your other sign says grind. So I think you see your affirmations on a daily basis.
Yeah, my whole house is filled with stuff like that.
That's good.
Just a burning desire, guys. Find that desire. But I appreciate you guys' time. Hopefully, if you ever need me again, Brian, let me know. I'm here, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Bryce. Thanks for sharing. We really appreciate it. And go get them. Keep at it.
Happy
Thank
holidays.
you.
Bye, guys.